So that's a very tough situation to collect and to explain these conditions of dropout and the edge cases. But having dealt with this kind of segment of K-12 or VUG,
Right.
it hasn't really affected us much.
Okay. Um, so I'm glad that it's not affecting you much, but there are several instances, and it remains to be seen, how these new age um companies, not necessarily education and fintechs, but a lot of these startups, pan out going ahead. So, Mr. Mehta, you said one thing that you would continue to back the entrepreneurs as long as they're capable and the next idea is great, and if they have to scale up the business. But as an investor, when should one put a stop to it? I remember, even though you're not a great fan of Shark Tank, but I recently saw one episode where there was an entrepreneur of great pedigree, Flatheads, if somebody had seen the episode, and his business was just going down, shoe business, and the judges, they had to tell him that to shut shop. So at what point do you take the hard call of pulling off the strings?
So as a VC, we write a check and then we have to make it work kind of stuff. There is no asa. So the only reason why a startup would fail is if they build something which no customer wants. There is no market. If there is no market, the customer. So let me give you example again of Boxit. Boxit is a very successful franchise. When it started and when we invested into it, this is like 2030. It started with a brand name called Poncho, which was a Mexican food QSR. They had some 6-7 outlets. Great Amit and Anshul both are IIT Bombay kids. Great pedigree. They had a running business. But in 2013-14, no Indian, or at least Mumbai, because we were doing Mumbai, focus was Mumbai. No one was thinking, chalo aaj jaake Mexican khayenge. Let me order Mexican. There was not, the market was not there. And thesis as an investor for us was, Chipotle doing a big IPO in US, Chipotle doing great, Mexican food palette great, akin to how Indians would eat across, everything. And their unit economics was fairly good, and we ended up investing. Then we pivoted into Boxit, and rest was history. So idea is, see, these founders continuously pivot. As an investor, did I know that Poncho will become Boxit and I invested in Boxit? No. It's just that these founders have that resilience to keep on building those models. See, startups are like experimentation. You keep on, and that's where the capital comes at play, right? It allows you to do multiple failures, again come back, build something story, and something would work out. And Boxit really worked out there. They are now Eat Club and having multiple brands. And very similar, I have seen so many of the startups where their original model with what they pitched, like Oyo, it was initially Oracle stage. Their first check was only 30 lakhs with their raise. Ritesh, just 30 lakhs. And then Oracle became Oyo in and then just Oyo. So it just, things change as they grow the business model. So as an entrepreneur, you have to keep talking to VCs, making them align to your new pivots and make sure they buy in and get alignment, and I think things would fall in place. And major reasons of failures which I've seen across within my portfolio is one where founders, founders have conflict between themselves. They kill the business because two founders can't work together. Then they have a product which nobody wants really. Third is they run out of cash, they don't know, they are not frugal, they run out of cash, nobody else is good. So capital efficiency is very, very important to showcase. So these are various reasons why startups will shut down. Usually VCs are not going to pull the plug unless they see something fishy happening, the founders are siphoning money or something. Otherwise, more or less VCs are investing on hope, as I mentioned across. We would like to see the founders successful, we root for their success, and we help them to get to that milestone of raising more money and more funding.
little bit of a rejoinder on this, that if you actually see Wipro, it was a soap and oil business before Azim Premji came and pivoted it into technology, and the rest is history. If you look at Netflix, it was supposed to be a DVD rental business. It was never supposed to be this, but it pivoted. If you look at Amazon, when Jeff Bezos saw Amazon not making money, we went into cloud services. Now Amazon Web Services is actually the reason Amazon continues to exist. If we had not built that, Amazon would not have been able to survive all this. So the point is that no business fails. Business fails only for two reasons. The entrepreneur runs out of either resources or the intention, the energy and the drive to make it successful. If the entrepreneur has the energy and the drive to make it successful, he will find the resources.
So I want to ask you one question, just moving away from this a bit. You are going to come out with an IPO, right? And so how do you, are you timing it with the market? Because last 1.5 years, in terms of how the market is actually viewing the new age companies, it has not been too kind in terms of looking at the valuations, looking at Paytm or recent Mama Earth. So how are you taking it?
So the success of an IPO is determined 1 year post the IPO. If 1 year post listing you have delivered 20% return, then your IPO is successful. And what bad markets do is that it helps you price it more reasonably. If the markets are frothy, if you are seeing other people go away with crazy valuation, the temptation is to price it higher. So in effect, it is good that the market is actually not allowing us this temptation and telling us that unless we are disciplined and we raise it at the right valuation, we will make a fool of ourselves. And when you go into an IPO, it is a public. After that, it's a public spectacle. The circus of quarter on quarter investor calls start. So you're putting yourself out there in public scrutiny. After that, if you can't deliver, then it's a huge failure. And if post listing, your stock tanks for whatever reason, or your performance tanks for whatever reason, then it's a public admission of failure. So as an entrepreneur, you are a little more careful that if you're going out in the public, you want to ensure that you are going at the right valuation, something that you can sustain, justify, and build over time.
Absolutely. And you think that this entire episode that has happened, any of you can take this question, that this will make founders and startups reassess how they're looking at numbers, how they're going and seeking valuations. Sometimes even founders can also go out and ask for exorbitant numbers. But now all that has that bubble sort of has punctured a bit, and we are looking at now more realistic valuations. So you want to read this?
It's so great you feel about saying that bubble fat gaya.